I would love to stop talking about the lockdowns and the propaganda and the lying with statistics and the tyranny and all of the stuff that's been happening over the past year. I would love to not talk about it. Like I would love to just promote my album, make jokes, like talk about fun stuff, whatever. But it's just like every day it grates at me, or every single day it grates at me, and I'm just like I have to vent. Like I have to put that out there because it's such an injustice, and so few other people are doing it that I feel a moral and an ethical compulsion to use my platform. Talking to, you know, over 500,000 people across my platforms, I feel a compulsion to say, hey, number one, this is wrong. But also number two, if you think this is wrong and you're not comfortable with this, you're not alone. Right? You're not alone. There are millions of people out there who are like, man, am I the crazy one? Am I the crazy one? Like what's going on here? I feel like no one else is thinking like this. No one else is speaking out. So it can feel very, very lonely. And I get hundreds of messages every week from people just saying, man, like thank you for helping me stay sane and thank you for articulating my viewpoint, which I feel like I can't, or even if I can, I don't have the same sort of platform you do, et cetera. So I think it's important to balance out this conversation because, like with a lot of conversations, what happens is one side is it totally dominates. So with
Yep.
this whole COVID narrative, the pro lockdown, pro mask, forcing vaccination, like that whole perspective is being rammed down everybody's throats. I think it's happening in the USA. It's certainly happening in the UK, et cetera, right? And you're not hearing a lot from the side of like, oh, what about like the pro freedom side? What about the pro human rights side? What about the pro autonomy to what what goes inside your own body side? What about right? So it's not even so much like anti-mask or anti. It's like pro freedom, pro human beings being able to make choices, do their own risk analysis, etc., and also being able to question the science, being able to question the statistics, etc. There are doctors, there are scientists, there are medics who are not in favor of all this nonsense going on, but we don't get to hear from them a lot. Certainly not on mainstream avenues, right? Their voices are silenced or quietened down, and the ones who are in favor of the narrative, in favor of the agenda, those are the ones that get elevated. And then people are saying like, oh, listen to the experts, listen to the science. And it's like, well, which experts and which scientists? Because you can find science that shows that masks are not that are not effective. You can look at data, and the data points out. Just look at the USA, look at the state by state data, look at the places that did lockdowns versus the ones that didn't, and look at the death rate per million with COVID-19. No correlation. No correlation. It's been a year, right? You've got all that data. Look at North Dakota and South Dakota. Look at California and Florida. Look at I don't know New York and like just whatever states you want to look at, and you'll see there's very little correlation. You can look at the UK and look at Sweden, look at Belarus. Like we've got all these data points from all around the world. So I think that's why people rely on these shaming tactics and the bullying and the name calling and the harassment, et cetera, because they don't have a solid argument. But they've totally bought into this narrative. And so for people to protect their own egos, they now need to use all these other tactics rather than just be willing to go, hmm, okay, maybe I'm wrong, or maybe the thing I thought would work didn't work. Like I myself, I opposed lockdowns from day one. I opposed them from day one, but I was surprised to see that, oh wow, like they really haven't made it like there's not a clear correlation here. Even though I opposed them philosophically, I would have still thought the assumption would be, okay, surely the states in the USA that lock down and do mask mandates will have a lower death rate than the ones that didn't. And then you look at the data and it's like, oh, no, that's not
Nothing.
even, no,
Yeah.
nothing. Like that's not even true. And yet here we are a year later and people are still on this nonsense because they don't want to just go, okay, like actually we've got this information now and we should shift gears.